like when Jack Black had to play that, little kind of teenage girl in that remake of Jumanji, and he has to,
Mhm.
and he's in the Jack Black body, like depicting this like kind of influencer teen, or in this film where it's, very obviously a man that's like 35 to 45, depicting like an 11-year-old.
Mm.
There is something about that that's very absurd. And hey, I'm Kit,
And I'm Cade,
and we're real people.
doing real reviews.
And we are moving on to episode 10, season 3 of Stories That Stick. These are the pieces of cinema that have shaped our perspective on how we critique and review movies. Our theme, because we are continuing on, is good versus evil. This
Yes.
is Cade's pick. Why don't you tell us what you picked?
I picked Shazam
Mm-hmm.
because it's the stories that shape us.
Mm-hmm.
This movie came out in the 90s.
Okay,
So I'm like
that's you.
preteen.
Okay.
And, I do love a good comedy.
Yeah.
So,
It is a superhero comedy that we watched. And so he's telling me about this movie, and he's like, it's a 90s movie and it's Shazam. And for whatever reason, because I have never seen Shazam, I thought it was Kazaam, which is with Shaquille O'Neal playing a genie. And I was like, oh, I remember really liking that movie. So instead of telling him that, I thought we were talking about the same movie. So then I just started talking about Shaquille O'Neal in my kitchen and was like, do you remember when KFC had like a Shaquille O'Neal like chicken bucket thing? And you would get like these basketballs with his hand on it, and it was this big deal. And he's just like, yeah, Kit, I remember that. And I was like, I had a cutout of Shaquille O'Neal at the same time. And so I had him in my room, and I had this basketball. And because of that, my mom put me in bantam basketball, which I hated for 2 years. And he's like, that's great. So we're watching the movie, and I kept waiting for Shaquille O'Neal to show up.
which he clearly doesn't show.
He's not in this movie. That's a different movie.
We have been there before where we thought we were watching one movie and it turned out
But
it
why
was the
would you
real
just
movie.
randomly listen to Shaquille O'Neal stories and
Well,
not say, why are you bringing this up?
one, shocker, I knew you weren't going to like this movie. Two, I thought it was funny that you were going to
Just
be
talking about it.
disappointed again. And three, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you just ramble, and I'm like, all right, well, that's a cool. Thank you for that sharing that story of your youth. Also, I do think that movie would be a good versus evil movie too.
Well, now I don't know if I remember it. I just remember
Oh,
that it was the
well,
90s.
I'd be open to watching that movie too.
Can't wait.
Considering that we watched two movies, I think I am owed a secondary movie, maybe a special episode.
Okay. Vote below if you believe that Cade deserves a movie incentivized. Okay, so tell us a
Yes.
little bit about this movie.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
I definitely chose this movie because I think one at that time period I was probably the same, younger than the main character. So I feel like I kind of related in that kind of way of trying to decide, for myself or what kind of was good
Hmm.
versus evil. Like I think it did a very good job, especially for that kind of age range of youth
Yeah.
to kind of like talk about those things in kind of a real way,
Hmm.
as well as I think like obviously the storyline, he's um an orphan in and out of homes.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a problem child,
Hmm.
and he gets kind of placed with this couple who are quite loving, and they understand, they like are giving back because they too went through the foster
Yeah. Foster.
system.
Yeah. Hmm.
And And, like, so there's a bunch of other kids that they're fostering as well, like, kind of the stereotypical story, but there's, like, a lot of love within that,
Mhm.
and then it kind of unfolds through the story, but I think, like, it was a good kind of, it set the stage kind of well for that, which I
Yeah.
think was kinda cool.
That was actually, like, quite a theme in the 90s. Because you remember, like, Free Willy,
Yeah.
something he was, like, getting fostered and problematic, and he ends up being saves a whale, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was, like, yeah, a lot of, like, missing parents or parents making kind of bad choices. That was, like, a theme then, and so, yeah, it was interesting because, there was, like, kids with a chip on their shoulder, but wanting wholesome things. I felt like that was yeah.
Do you think that's because the people making the movies, their parents were from the '70s? There was
And
just
there
a
was,
lot of, like, "Yeah."
like, a little bit of freedom, maybe.
I don't know, maybe we'll have to think about that later. That's an interesting take.
And I know that there was I know when it came to, well, what I've been told about Disney and why a lot of times the mother is killed is because Disney's mom had passed away and that had translated into the film. So who knows? It could be a depiction from the filmmakers, or it could have been a theme that was landing and making money. And so they just kept rolling with it, right?
Rare.
Mm-hmm.
Shazam made money.
Well, let's talk about, I guess, like,
Okay.
how is it good versus evil?
Yeah, so the theme, there's this last of the wizards,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Council.
council,
Mm-hmm.
and, basically he's, stopping the 7
Deadly sins.
deadly sins from destroying the universe,
Mm-hmm.
and he, in the midst of that, you see a boy kind of go through, he wasn't chosen, kinda goes away, and then the 7 deadly sins are kind of unleashed or they kind of grow in power because the wizard's getting weaker. However, he casts a spell to find like the person through time.
The one.
The one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it happens to be this main character of this story, who quite funny. He's like running from the police or something. He's done something and then he ends up in
At the
front of
Wizard
this.
Council.
Yeah. He's like, where am I? Kind
Mhm.
of happens, and basically he gets all of these powers, and he's basically a teenager in this huge body,
Mhm.
superhero body,
Yep.
and quite funny that like the nerdy kind of other foster child that he's living with is helping him kind of go through it to try to decide like what powers do you have as far as as kids they're like, are you invisible? Can you like
It's like messing
can you
with
fly? Yeah,
yeah.
all of these things, which is quite a funny kind of taking through it.
Mhm.
As well as I think for me in the comedy, like Lance, I would say that I
You thought it
find
was
those
very funny.
jokes still funny today. Throughout the
It's
whole movie.
dad jokes, everyone, and
Wow.
it's just one-liner dad jokes for the full runtime. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sure is.
I do love a good dad joke.
You too.
Yes, which
Mhm.
you do not.
No. Don't. Um, but yeah, it is, it's certainly good versus evil. Like, obviously, the 7 deadly
Mm,
sins are well depicted. They're depicted as monsters that are, wreaking havoc. These children in the foster home are helping once it's revealed that he is this superhero.
superhero, yeah,
Um, they're trying to help him with the sins, and, they even, in the end, get to have powers of their own, which is great.
for sure.
And,
Well, and it was also a cool take too, because then that other kid grew up, and because he wasn't chosen and he really wanted it so bad, like he basically became evil because he was festering on that and how he could get it.
Mhm,
And so he was working through trying to figure out how to get back there
mhm.
and really became this villain that you wanted to dislike through the whole movie. Um, so I thought it was a pretty good kind of depiction and like them working back and forth as well as also too kind of funny from that standpoint of like an adult fighting with a kid and how absurd
Yeah, they did a great
that
job of
is.
doing that because they even would have, like, the super villain monologue, And so he's talking about how he's gonna destroy the earth or whatever he's talking about, and then they cut to Shazam, and he's like, "I can't hear you over the traffic," and, like, it's showing that he can't hear him, and he's like, "Okay, are you doing, like, a monologue?" Or and then it,
Yeah.
like, goes and it goes back to him being like, "And then your children's children will," and it's, like, this evil thing, and he's like, "I don't know what you're saying," and they do give enough room for, like, that scene was funny. It landed, but yeah, it is, I think it's in so many movies when somebody has to play a character like when Jack Black had to play that, little kinda teenage girl in, that remake of Jumanji, and he has to
Mhm.
and he's in the Jack Black body, like, depicting this, like, kinda influencer teen, or in this film where it's, very obviously a man that's, like, 35 to 45, depicting, like, an 11-year-old.
Mm,
There is something about that that's very, absurd, and, I think that we like that because 'cause we're imagining, like, how would you navigate life should that happen to you? So it brings you into the character, and how would you handle your friendships and things like
right.
that.
Yeah, like he went and bought beer.
I knew the hops are
Yeah,
like
the fruit, whatever, yeah.
oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, and how would you navigate your relationships and when he says Shazam, he goes back into his child body and his normal
Mhm.
life. And yeah, and so it is yeah, interesting. And then he makes mistakes with his friends along the way where he's gonna show up and show like these bullies at school that this like, kid that he's in the foster home with has is friends with Shazam. So he'll have clout and be cool, but he's late. And, that's what hurts this friendship, and they have to work through that, and, yeah, they layer it in the relationships, and how if he
Yeah.
trusted the kids at the foster home, then maybe he'd have more allies and more friendships. What I think is interesting about the point that you just made about the villain, so one of the children was brought to the Wizard Council, not taken, and then, was obsessive and didn't go. It made me think about the fact that this other kid is in a foster home, because what happens if you're not the one? If you're not chosen? If you are put in a scenario where you don't feel loved, because that villain didn't feel loved or chosen by his parents either. Like the other son was the golden child. And does that obsession make you evil? Does it make you bad? Now, obviously, this is an extreme example of it, but if you don't feel loved or chosen in your youth, how does that manifest to you in the future? Do you take that and go, I don't want anybody else to ever feel that way, so I'm going to, love on every person that I work with or, as I go through my journey? Or am I going to take that, foster that into myself, and I'm going to destroy everything around me because I wasn't loved?
Yeah, but I also think it could be the other way too, because the main character, he was a foster child that
Mhm,
had to go through all of these hardships,
mhm.
and then for him, he had to actually decide
Yeah,
to be good.
to be good. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like his choice to be good resulted in him still having to go through a journey, but being good. But I mean, like, what is the makings of a villain?
Mm,
What are the choices that are made that makes a villain villain? Because was it just that it was a no from the Wizard Council, or was it a no and also because of not feeling loved in the family dynamic, and also maybe obsession, and that being another deadly
that's
sin that
true.
wasn't really
Yeah.
talked about? And what does obsession lead to? Because then you're so linear, right? You're so small
Mhm.
minded and in like how your perspective on the world and life, and yeah, and
Yeah,
so many thoughts on that perspective.
fascinating. Yeah.
Mhm. Um,
Which and then obviously at the end of the movie, it is kind of it wraps it up in this nice, pretty, wholesome bowl
mhm.
as far as like the whole family gets to be superheroes together.
Yeah,
At
they're the
the
Wizard
council.
Council.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Which I
they
like.
block the
Yeah.
7 sins. Mhm. Yeah, you like that too, hey?
Yeah.
It was very sweet and cheesy and light, not the same choices I typically would make,
No.
but I don't think ever although I do like the movie Pitch Perfect, like, that's kind of sweet and cheesy, but maybe because there's music that I like it a little better, I don't know. Um,
This isn't yeah, now that you say this is a very interesting because I feel like I'm up here
mhm, yeah,
and you're just over here.
I was just so I'm, like, in the next room.
You're like, "You know what we need to do today?"
We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna watch this, which, it was interesting when we were exploring genre, right?
Mm.
Because then we went down the journey of, like, what are our different perspectives? What did we like?
Yeah.
And we were so concentrated on story and, like, our buy-in ability. And then here, I don't care as much about buy-in ability. I cared more about, like, well, what am I watching? Especially because I hadn't seen this ever.
Yeah.
And,
I would say interesting enough too, because this kind of lands as well. Like, I would say most of your picks are from movies that you watched in high school,
mm,
and
mhm,
mine are more pre-high
yeah,
school and kind of like the movies that I've, like, picked or, like,
mhm,
kind of made that kind of impact. I don't know if that was because I was not watching TV in high school with the amount of things that I was doing, but,
mhm.
yeah, a very interesting take as far as what kind of shaped us between them.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah, timeline-wise, for sure.
timeline and in that kind of point. Because I would say, like, this one obviously landed for me,
Mhm.
still landed because I do love a dad joke, and I did still laugh and crack up the whole
We
movie.
watched this with some other people, they also gave it a very high rating, so if you are watching it and you are not a cynical little genre blondie, then you'll probably love it, but
And you could also watch it with your kids if you have kids.
sure, yeah, there's monsters, so I would still, like, maybe not super young, but, like, yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah,
middle of the road.
yeah, that's very sweet. So, do you remember what you rated this movie?
I did. I rated this one an 8.5.
Mhm.
Um,
Where did it lose points for you?
uh, I would
Originality?
I mean, obviously, it kind of lands in that kind of world of, like, yes, we kind of know what's gonna happen before it's gonna happen.
Mhm.
I think I did rate it that because being older now, rewatching the movie,
Mm.
I would say that while it still fits the theme and it is a singular movie,
Mhm.
uh, in that,
Yeah.
um, and I laughed quite a bit through it.
Yep.
It's I mean, for the reasons why you don't like it as well, like the character development and all of those sorts of things could be more,
Mhm.
but I think it's a full story. I
Yeah.
love the kind of found family aspect of it.
Mhm.
It's, sweet. It has those kind of iconic lines where they like love on each other, they found each other, yada yada.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So still an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, that's still quite high.
Yes. What did you rate it?
At 3.5, I felt like it was very flat. I thought the character development was very dry. I thought the
But also too, like, oh, sorry. I guess I'll wait my turn.
what? You're
I'll
like
argue with you during your.
very flat. It's supposed to be
Well, it's for like preteens. Like, so, I mean, yes, as an adult, I could see that. Anyways, I apologize for interrupting you.
That's
I
okay.
am upset you rated it so low.
You watched Kill Bill and rated it the same.
I watched two movies.
Okay. I think that the biggest difference maker here
Yes.
is that it is comedy first, right?
Mm,
I don't mind action, but I
yeah.
find that for me to really buy into an action movie, I do need depth in how dark
Mm,
something goes.
okay.
And because of potentially the age range that it's aimed towards or CGI at that time, the dark aspects were not evil enough for me to have like a
Fair.
now it's labeled as obvious, right? This
Yeah.
is an on the nose choice, but for me to enjoy that aspect, I think I would have needed to see like one of the kids almost not make it or something bad happen to somebody. But instead they're just like seven deadly sins eating the bad guy dad
Yeah.
and kind of wrecking parts of the city, but nobody's really injured, so I'm like, "Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
needed more."
I see that.
Yeah,
It also really didn't even like the monster parts were like so small.
yeah, yeah,
That was really more the story of the family and his kind of progression through that.
yeah, and so
Maybe we should remake the movie.
what do you guys think? Should we all bring in My Kind of Monster? We'll
We'll
keep
bring
the dad joke.
we'll bring in Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2
Yeah, we'll bring in that aspect of how
with
the show goes
Shazam, and we'll
hammer
mash them
together.
together.
Oh, can we hire Shaquille O'Neal just for fun? Because
Just
I
a little
so
cameo in there.
I feel so
What'd you say with this KFC?
like the KFC, he'll just come in with
The
KFC.
chicken?
He was part of like a deal that you got a basketball list. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I
Shaquille O'Neal, if you watch, please comment what was happening. Why you're affiliated with chicken in my head. I just it feels like it's like it was like a reward. I don't know.
yeah,
He
I'm
owns a
curious.
bunch of franchises, maybe.
Well, obviously now maybe, but, um, I'd be interested to see if that movie landed at the same time as Shazam.
Like I feel like
Like,
it's
with the naming?
older.
Yeah, like, why they I think Shazam is older, or
I
Kazam
think
is
Kazam's
older
older.
than Shazam
I
'cause
think you're right.
it has yes,
Yeah.
I don't know, hard
Well,
to say.
I
We'll
mean,
have to look it up.
yeah, we don't bring our phones to set to Google in front of you guys, but we'll do it later. Um, I do you know what else I feel like is if the comedy, if they used a little bit more, because they used some physical comedy,
Mhm.
but when he was learning his superpowers, they didn't like he didn't really get injured. He didn't, you know what I mean? Like it didn't affect him when he was like in his boy body. Like there could have been things there too that I maybe would have been like, oh, and it would have landed
Like, a bit
more.
more.
Because if a superhero gets injured, they don't really get injured, right? And so they're doing these physical things, but it'd be funny if he had like, hit the top of a lamppost or something that was maybe
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
physical with the humor. But because the humor was literally dad jokes the whole time, then I was like, my gosh,
I mean,
the cheese on it.
it was funny, but also too, I think, like, even, like, as I don't know, a teenager, like, the bullies at school and kinda, like, those kinds of things, like, I think all of that kinda storyline
Yeah.
landed really well for me.
Do you think it's because it was like boy bullying in that time? And maybe I felt
Maybe.
dissociated because I'm like, I didn't get wedgied. Nobody threatened to nobody was gonna cram me into a locker. That wasn't happening. Like
Could be.
no physical
Well, and it
ripping.
was from a boy's perspective. Interestingly enough, we both picked good versus evil from the gender character in which
We are
we
existing in.
identify
And
as
you chose a foster kid that turns into the nicest,
a
friendly
superhero.
superhero. Take notes. I turned into an assassin, but it's okay because they have a kid. So, oh no, we're found out. Okay. Well, like and subscribe for more. You can listen to us anywhere where you listen to podcasts, Apple and Spotify. And if you are watching on broadcast television, stay tuned. The next theme is next. And we're also on social media.
Yes, Instagram at Cade and Kit.
Mhm. We also have a blog if you want to go over there. But we appreciate you guys and thanks for watching.
Bye.